Go ahead.
It's not very long though.
All right, but speak
Mine was
louder.
short, very short.
So when I met Jamie, Jamie was 11
A woman.
and sort of obnoxious, as 11-year-olds tend to be, right?
Very.
Anyway, Jamie's name for me was Beans.
That's right.
And you called me Beans for a long time.
I did.
In fact, I think you should start it up again. I'd like to be called Beans.
Wanted to call beans?
I do, but you know, they don't make beans anymore, Libby's.
I know.
They,
Oh, Libby's beans, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's why.
yeah, yeah. So that's my Jamie story. And Jamie eventually became non-obnoxious.
Slowly.
Yeah,
I'm
Well,
a slow learner.
but it's called me Beans for a long time.
My Jamie story is arriving at the cottage and Jamie coming out and saying, come and see this. And she had a rope that she would swing out with. And she'd grab the end of the rope and just run with it. And the next thing you know, she'd be way up in the air and like 30, 40, 50 feet down over a bit of a cliffy type thing.
Into the water.
Well, no, and then she'd come back.
Oh,
That was a vine, wasn't it? It wasn't a rope, it was a vine.
No.
No, it was a rope.
Oh, I don't remember the vine.
What do you mean?
There was a
did
vine.
you tell, did you tell the story?
Yeah, there's no vine.
No.
Trumpet?
Oh, I have a Jamie story.
Okay,
okay.
there we go.
When I graduated from high school, I was very actively involved in the music program, the senior band, senior orchestra, the pit orchestra for the HMS Pinafore and all this kind of stuff. The music teacher at the high school was a guy by the name of Doc Jones, a wonderful guy.
Yeah, I remember him.
And there's this old tenor horn, which is like a mini baritone. Plays in the treble clef and the key of B flat, so it's identical to playing the trumpet. And it was kicking around the music department, and I asked Doc Jones if anybody wanted that or if I could have it, and he gave it to me. And so I brought it out to the cottage, and I played it once in a while. Well, in that time, Jamie had a pet hamster.
A mouse, white mouse.
Oh, it was a white mouse? Okay.
White mouse.
All right. I had a white mouse, and Jamie got the horn and put the white mouse down the bell of the horn. Now, you can imagine the horn, it plays upright where the bell is like this, and it goes around, and the tube gets smaller
Yes.
as it goes.
Oh, God.
So, so guess what happens? The mouse
Yeah.
gets stuck in the tube, in the horn. Jamie, shaking and rattling and trying to get the mouse out without success, starts to panic, and he goes and he gets a saw, saws the horn where he thinks the mouse is, and
it's
was
not
able
there.
to extract one dead mouse from the thing, and was so upset
And I
at that.
buried it.
So upset at that, he buried the mouse and took a sledgehammer to the horn and finished it off completely. Didn't tell me. And about a month later, I'm looking around for the horn, and I say, "Has anybody seen the horn?" And that's when the story comes out that Jamie did that. So
Well, how did you get the story
Cannot
out?
tell a lie.
I made him give me $10 for the horn,
Do you remember that, Jamie?
Yeah.
and he paid me $10 for the horn. And I really would like to have that horn back.
With or without the mouse?
You really feel it was
I would love to.
nowhere near what you should have gotten for it. You should have got a lot more.
Arlene has a story. I have a story, and this would be in absentia too. This would only be through your mother and your father's reaction to it. But you had a huge train set downstairs. And
Oh, yeah.
you built all of these mountains, and it was very elaborate. And one day, towards the end of the train set's life, you and
Well,
Grant.
we were going to move. We had sold.
Oh,
we
that's right. You sold the
place.
house and you were going to move.
That's
And
right.
so you and Grant filled the mountains and the things all full of firecrackers and blew it up, didn't you?
Yeah, we blew up the train set.
In the basement?
In the basement.
Basement.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, that train set wasn't yours per se, because I remember.
That was mine. That was mine.
Was it for
Yeah,
sure?
that was
Like,
after
I-
Put
we bought
dibs on it,
No,
okay?
but it wasn't yours?
I
Like,
mean, between that and
we
the
had
horn.
a train set when
You had
we
a
were
Lionel.
kids.
You had a Lionel, a 3-track one.
Yeah.
This was a 2-track one each.
Okay.
Oh, I
But
don't
we
know.
I
used to have
remember
one.
the
But it was on
table,
like-
like,
it was
to
on
turn
like
the
a-
corner.
We used to have
it
one
was
that
like
was
a-
on a table that was like 4 by 8 feet
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
And,
I remember that.
It did,
on the
wasn't,
side.
there wasn't a little
That was the table,
mountain.
all of our stuff for our trousseaux
I
were all.
know, I know.
Thank God they don't do that anymore.
I know. Can
they
you
don't.
believe we did do that?
I remember it was raining one time when we were living on Fulton Drive, and I came downstairs. This isn't a Jamie story. This is just a horrible story. The cement floor had come up to the roof of the ceiling
What?
of the basement. All the water had gone underneath the cement floor, and it literally
In your basement?
in the basement. It was just unbelievable. So they ended up having to re-excavate the whole basement.
Oh, my
Do you remember that at all, Jamie?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Your
that
mother?
part?
Nope.
Didn't
No,
decide to
Jimmy might not have
to
been born
move
yet.
at that
I was-
point.
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
wasn't born yet.
Oh, I have another Jamie story. I mean, I wasn't there, and it's to do with when you were born, and you were in a carriage, and your mother.
Oh.
It's a picture of you in the carriage, and I think there might have been a nurse there too.
Yeah, Bernadette.
And your mother is smoking a
Oh,
cigarette, and then she hands the cigarette to Gord,
No, no,
and he's holding.
somebody said, take a picture holding Jamie, so she picks up Jamie, and she felt that it was inappropriate to be holding a cigarette while you're holding the baby, so she hands a cigarette to me. Age what? Well,
I don't know what we
50?
No, I was
56.
7, so you were
You're born
nine.
58.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah.
So you're standing here holding it?
No, I'm saying, what, oh, that's kind of neat, what do I do now? But I'm in the picture with holding the cigarette.
That's funny.
What I
Well, it's
remember
better
is you
the ones
came
with
home,
their
you
dripping
came home,
ashes into your ears.
you didn't open your eyes before you came home, so you came home with your eyes closed.
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought that's how babies came home until you and Marilyn had a baby. I mean, when
Yeah.
did you see newborn babies
Right.
in those days? So I
'Cause I was
for
6
all
weeks
those years,
premature.
I thought babies came home from the hospital
Yeah,
with their eyes
because
closed.
I was 6 weeks premature.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
still, that's really unusual.
So are you saying you're 6 weeks older than you should be?
yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, you got that going for you.
I'm gonna use that 6 weeks now.
So Jamie, do you have any stories about us? About 1,000, I bet.
Well, to be honest with you, there are a lot of great stories, a lot of great things that we did. A lot of times, wonderful times. Some of the best times I remember were the Earls and Duncans getting together around Christmas.
Yeah.
Being with the cousins. I loved that. I remember going up the cog train in Mount Washington with Gord
Yeah.
and pretending we climbed it at the top, and that was really quite something. It was more. I felt more the cottage. Great times at the cottage, Thanksgiving dinners, that bittersweet time of year where it's there's the bitterness of
ending.
having to close the cottage, and that was the end of the season, but the sweetness of autumn and the colors and the beautiful blue skies we used to get, and the lake and all the autumn colors we had.
Hermitage Club.
And the Hermitage Club was a great thing. I remember a good story about Galen and myself. Galen one day at the cottage decided to teach me chess. So he started teaching me all the basic moves, and we played a couple of sort of demonstration games. And then he said, okay, now we'll play a real game.
You beat him.
And I beat him.
That would have ticked him off.
So that was funny. I remember that. I remember a lot of good times helping Gord with his hockey by being the practice defenseman, so he could practice his moves in the garage, and his deking and stuff. So I remember doing that.
Lots of hockey pucks against the garage door.
Yeah, we had a few of those, didn't we? Yeah.
Well, that was because the sump pump, the
Yes.
exit of the sump pump came out at the top of the driveway.
And would ice the whole-
and would run down the driveway, and if there was no snow and it was cold, that little path would freeze.
Oh.
And it was a
There's always
perfect
this little patch of ice down the driveway.
patch of ice starting about, yay wide, and by the time it got to the end of the driveway, it was this wide.
Yeah.
And so you could stand on the sidewalk and put a puck on the ice with your thing, just with your boots, and
Just
it
fire
fired,
it away.
fired at the garage door. Yeah.
That's right.
Which worked out pretty well until one day I put a puck through the garage door.
Oh,
And my shot was developing at that point. And that was the end of that. Dad had to pay $700 or something for a new garage door. So that ended the garage door experience.
Now, they don't make garage doors as solid as that anymore either.
I remember Gord studying for his finals at the little desk, wood desk that Mum had. And
Maple.
yeah, it was a beautiful carved antique kind of desk. And I remember going into the desk and playing with the letter opener and breaking it, and then just carefully putting it back. Because of course I'm not going to tell anybody that I had done that. And then Dad blamed Gordon on it. And Gordon was about to get punished for it. And I actually stepped forward and said, no, it was me who did it.
Do you remember the Resden experience story?
no, what's that?
Okay. I can't believe it. This was one of those moments where you really wonder. So I decided to wash my hair with the Resden. What the heck was Resden? Okay. Well, you know, there wasn't a lot of product in our house. And, anyway,
They were all
there was this
boys
bottle of
except for
Resden,
you.
so I just, liberally and I used up the whole bottle. So Dad
Dad
said, who
used
used the Resden? And we all said, not me, not me, not me, not me. So then he brought us out down to the kitchen and he lined us up and said, okay, I just want to be clear. One of you has used all of my Resden. And I want to know who used it. Or I forget how.
Did he have
and then
his-
he brought
did he
out
have
the
his belt?
family Bible. Can you believe this? So we all had to swear on the Bible. Now, I, of course, had done it, but I swear on the Bible anyway.
This ruined your life.
And then he finally, totally exasperated, told us all to go to our room. And on our way up the stairs, I said to Gord, do you think he'd be mad if I told him I did it? And Gordon sort of went, admit to it, we're all being punished. Over a bottle of Resdan, which was essentially a clear,
Yeah, I know, and it wasn't a big bottle.
79 cent.
yeah.
It was like a
nothing,
79-cent
nothing.
buy.
The two questions that remain were, why did I do it? And why did I fight so hard to defend that I hadn't done it?
I thought you were going to tell about the time. I thought it was related to that where I adopted this very serious demeanor when asked the question. Said, "No, I didn't do it," and Dad interpreted that as guilt,
Well, maybe that did.
and so I got punished.
No, I
For
think
the
we were all
Resdan?
being punished.
No, I got punished. I got the slipper, and
Over the Resdan?
Yes, and so after the fact, you went and confessed because you felt so bad that I got punished.
Well, you know,
But the benefit of that is, from that time on, anytime I was asked a question, I just adopted the same demeanor, and that was ironclad proof that
Yeah.
I was telling the truth.
yeah.
How about the food that was stuffed down?
That's a Gordon story.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you better
I was
tell
the
that
one who
one.
found out about it.
So,
Yeah? You found out about it?
When it was tipped
no, it was
over.
me who found it.
You tipped the table
No,
over.
See,
were-
no,
Yeah.
see, I found it. What happened is they had just bought this new teak dinette set. That's the one with the
Yeah.
blue padding
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
nice
She
teak,
had it at
nice
the
teak
house.
table. And so she was going to give the table to Marilyn. And I said, well, we can't, it's not going to fit in anything unless we take the legs off. So Mom says, can you do that? I said, sure, of course I can do that. I just need a screwdriver and and I'll be fine. But when I tipped the whole table leg, all of a sudden, table over, all of a sudden out of the legs, these bits of dry, desiccated food started falling out. And
least it was
so
not slime.
so
I
I
thought
took
it
the
was
leg and
slime.
was shaking the leg, like, what is all this stuff? And each leg had actually been filled with this desiccated, dried food bits.
And
now-
Gord,
now
Gord,
it
you're
goes
the
to
one that
Gordon.
did it?
Yes.
So
Okay, so
Gordon was left-handed, and he
I'm going
kept
to tell
asking to be moved.
I'm going to tell my version of the story,
But you know, it's interesting because
and maybe Mom protected Jamie. I'm not gonna- When I got home from school, I was told to come in and sit down, and Mom let on that she saw me stuffing food. Like, what are you doing? You're stuffing food down there, and And I had moved all around the table. When the leg got full, I moved over here.
That's
and I
right,
moved over
exactly.
here.
Then blame it on his left arm.
So she made me, I'm left-handed, so I have to go sit over here. So, and most of the stuff that I put in there is when she made scrambled eggs, she did
didn't
it
like the
farmer
white.
style, and she had all these little strips of white stuff in it, and I didn't like that. So I take the white stuff and then I go, put it down there.
I think he might have a syndrome.
What?
Well, I don't know. Who puts
does
food
that?
down a lake table?
Well, when you're
Well,
trying
see,
to,
that was an old Art
you're trying to
Deco.
avoid eating it.
It was a 1950s sort of remake of the
no,
Art
no,
Deco
no,
style.
no, no,
And
no,
so
no,
it was chrome. They were chrome, hollow chrome legs.
Yeah.
So you can't do that with most tables.
No,
They have
it
solid
was a
legs.
wonderful table for just that purpose.
so anyway, she claimed that she saw me doing it, and that's how I got busted, but,
Yeah.
I had to clean it out.
The rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John, do you remember getting that table?
No, but we probably did.
It was a melamine table,
Yeah.
sort of
Gray,
gray.
no,
and white.
gray,
Art
gray.
Deco
With
the chrome
aluminum
rail.
all around
Had a
the
chrome
edge.
rail all
Chrome
around.
rail all
Yeah, I
around
remember
it, and
that,
chrome
yeah.
legs.
Or they just
Yeah.
mass produced.
Exactly.
I remember the table.
Well, you see, what happens was I took all the legs off, and then Mum said, just leave it. Don't do
Oh,
any
maybe
more.
that's what, yeah, okay, so
See,
leave
and
it,
then
Gord's
she's-
gonna clean it out, yeah.
Gore's gonna have to clean that out.
I remember walking by the washroom there, you know, on the when you would walk up the stairs and go left. There was the one bedroom up a couple of
Yeah.
steps, then there was a washroom, and then there was the bedroom over
That's
the
the bedroom
garage.
I was in when I got diabetes.
Yes. And in that bathroom, you were, I think you were dressed for school, and you had your foot up on the sink and a face cloth, and you were washing your ankles. Yeah. You just, that was the only part of you that you wanted to make sure was clean. He wasn't into showering or anything.
No, I went on the
had dirty
caking principle.
Yeah.
You can only get so dirty, then it cakes and falls off.
I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm washing my ankles."
So when I was in high school, so I was in that room that was up the 3 steps for a while.
Yeah.
And so Galen was in that room, and John was in the room over the garage. When
Yeah.
John left, Galen moved into the room
Yeah.
over the garage, and I went into Galen's room.
Yeah.
And then when Galen left, I went into the room
Yeah.
over the garage. So when I was in high school, probably grade 9, when Mom and Dad would go out, I would go downstairs, pour myself a scotch and soda,
Gord.
and then go get a cigarette. And I would close the bathroom door, open the bathroom window, and lean out, smoking a cigarette, having scotch and soda.
How old were you?
Feeling very mature.
How old were you?
I think grade 9, so I was
So did you get found out?
14 or 15. No.
No.
The only problem was the Kaplans next door had a huge picture window.
Yeah.
There, yeah, 'cause that
Right
was
there,
their TV
that
room.
was their, it was a
Family
library,
room. Yeah.
the family room, TV
Yeah.
room there.
They
And,
saw you.
no, I was never busted there, but I was always very nervous that somebody would come into that room.
That's great.
That is really